All right, Shalom Yashala, call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Waha Rakako Dash Barakatham. I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And also, salutations to the select number of Akwat out there listening. I'd like to get into a lesson about order, and the law, because of course, you got other sects out there, other sects of Israel talking about certain things were permissible because the law wasn't in place. But the oral, you always had the oral. The oral law was passed down, and what proves that is what I'm about to read now is the in Genesis 4 with Cain and Abel. Okay, so I'm gonna read through this and then hit points and then get some other precepts and other points to prove that the laws, because Jake likes to say the law wasn't in place, this and that, but it was always understood on what to do and what not to do. Prime example with Noah. How did he know to take two of everything unclean? Well, Salakia, yeah, to have unclean and clean things on the ship. How did he know that? A lot of our people who claim to be in the truth or know about this truth, man, brothers need to think before trying to discredit what the apostles and elders are saying on and so forth, man. That's a huge problem with Yashrala. It didn't come from a source that you like, so you want to try to discredit, but the scriptures say otherwise. This is a matter of fact. So like, what would I like? So like it. Let me start right here. Bear with me, Baba Shah. Yeah, okay. we'll start. We'll start at verse 7, verse 1. Okay, this is Genesis 7, verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, and male Salakia, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. How did Noah know that, man? Okay, it's of course through orally passing of the law. Okay, that's how we knew. Because of course okay, well it wasn't written down yet, but you had the law passed down orally from generation to generation. And matter of fact, that was a key point in so like in verse 1, I'll reread that again. And Yahweh said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So of course orally the law was passed down. That's how Noah knew clean from unclean, man. I'll tell you, because that whole well, this wasn't in place per nah, bro. It's always been order. Jake either followed the law, statutes, and commandments or didn't. Point blank, period. This is back in Genesis 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. Verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Okay, the tiller of the ground is, laborer, working, husbandry, Verse 3. And in Salakia, and in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahweh. That's a big no-no. Verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Why is that? Because that was not a worthy offering. Okay? There is no life, and there was not a worthy sacrifice, man. So basically, with that with the offering of the fruit, the Lord looked at that like, man, what's this? Ain't no, there's nothing sacrificial about this fruit, man. Verse 6. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Okay, he slew Abel because he had a whack ass sacrifice. Okay, you sit here and offered up fruit. Okay, and this is further proven that it's always been order, man. That was what Abel offered, was a worthy offering unto Yahweh. What Cain offered was a weak ass sacrifice that had no life in it. Okay, as they say, there's life in the blood. There's no life in that fruit, man. You got something from some fruit from the ground, and the Lord was like, "The hell is this?" But Cain, and Cain was also the first to murder. And when you and also that word that Cain means weapon. But also, just a side note with Cain, that's where you get that term from, raising Cain. If y'all ever curious about that, raising Cain, that comes from this history on Cain and Abel. This is verse 9. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? He didn't fly with the Lord. Verse 10, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. So, Yahweh know, he's just, it's like, oh, so we planned it like that. Okay, bet. Verse 11, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Okay. Verse 12, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Okay, so from that sacrifice and from the murder of Abel, okay, there was clearly wrongdoing. Okay, so therefore the Lord is punishing Cain. He's foretelling him his future. Like, look, bro, you went off. The sin is lying at the door, bro. You transgressing. Verse 13, and Cain said unto Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Verse 14, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. Verse 15, and Yahweh said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So that this chapter further proves, okay, there was order, man. Okay, people still had this perception, and with Yahweh in the earlier time in the beginning of Earth, man, that you know that people was just walking around like brute beasts, man. No, there was order. Okay, there was order. There was order how you offered up sacrifices. Cain put up a whack ass sacrifice. Abel put up a worthy sacrifice, and that's how he what he gained respect from from the Most High, man. The Most High had respect unto Abel, man, because the offering was worthy, not no fruit. Okay, so that further proves, with the so like with the term order, man. People like the and it's real talk. It's really a lot of ease conditioning, man. That like, nah, bro. Just because y'all was ran into to the mountains and what to the mountains. Everybody didn't live like E. You know what I'm saying? You were ran into the mountains because you were a filthy beast, and and it was prophesied too. You know, this is where I want to start at. I'll start at 1. This is Genesis 26, the further proof that that laws, statutes, and commandments were still followed, but it was it was orally passed down, from our line. This is Genesis chapter 26, verse 1. And there was a famine in the land beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Amalek, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And Yahweh appeared unto him and said, go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Verse 3, sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee, for unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. Verse 4, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Okay? It's talking about Yasharallah. Okay? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Verse 5. Here's the point. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Okay? For you permissible Jakes out there, well, it wasn't in the law at this time, this and that. Hey, it's always been order, and it's always been an oral law. Okay. Let's see. I think the last point I would like to get is I would like to get I'll start at 7. This is Genesis 4. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. Okay, these are Hamites, and you know we weren't supposed to be dealing with them, man. Especially the who's it? Dinah, which is pretty much Eve, is Israelite. She's a Dinah was an Israelite. You know, I'll continue reading. Verse 10: And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. And see, and that's key in verse 9 too, because Hamor, he said what? And make ye Salakia, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. You know, and we weren't, trying to, rock with him like that, you know. Verse 11: And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. Verse 13: And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor and his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. Verse 14, and here's really the key point. And they said unto them, We cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. Okay, which is like a disgrace, a scorn, or taunt, right? So that uncircumcision is what? Being seen as unclean. Okay? So they understood, like, nah, man. Nah, we're not feeling it. And you a Hamite? And you know what I'm saying? For one, that's how it was, and they let you know that orally, like, man, they defiled our sister. Why? Because it was a Hamite too. He was uncircumcised. Okay? So they already knew them those Hamites was uncircumcised, you know, and not being a fellow Israelite, So they was like, man, hell nah, you know. You know what? I'll read a few verses down. Verse 15. But in this will, Salakia, but in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. And Jake, supplanted supplanted Shechem and Hamor, man. Verse 17, but if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. Verse 18, and their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do, and Salakia, verse 19, and the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all those, Salakia, all the house of his father. Verse 20, and Hamor and Shechem his son came into the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein, for the land it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Verse 22, only herein will the men consent unto us to dwell with us to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised? Because we what? Because we knew it was law and order, man. There's always been order. Okay, that was pretty much the point. When you read further down, Levi and Simeon, you know, they slew the men of the city. I just want to bring these points out that there's always been law, because Jake tries to wiggle around and say we can only have basically an Israelite can only be an Israelite if both parents, if the father and mother are both Israelites, which are not true. The man carries the seed, so that's where this lesson stems from. And they talk about permissible things because the law wasn't brought forth, which is BS, because there was already an understanding orally from generation to generation. You dig? And that's all I have on this. Abaratazah, this is edifying for the Akyam and Akwath. Once again, call Halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Waharakak Dash Barakatam. Once again, I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam, pushing the truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Akwath. Shalom.